very many people interested in football, and I always thought that football was a very important game, but I never realized until today just how important it is.
Whether the Wonder Boys of White Hart Lane are or are not the team of the century can't possibly be more than a matter of opinion.
Well, they're the finest team in Great Britain, and one of the best in the world.
We are about the glory of the game. We are about playing with style. We are Tottenham Hotspur. The curve of the ball, the billow of the net, the beating of the trap and the picking of the lock, the swiftness of thought, the lightness of touch. We are Ginola, Greaves, Klinsmann. We are the collective gasp, the intake of breath, the flick, the trick, the 30-yard free kick. We are Hoddle, Mabbott and King. We are the lob, the chip, the dummy and the volley. We are the hat trick, the scissor kick. We are Bill Nick.
That is schoolboy's own stuff.
We are the outside of the boot, the inside of the net, and those seconds that last forever.
It's Lucas Moura. Oh, they did it! I cannot believe it! Lucas Moura with the last kick of the game.
We are Jennings, Defoe, and Perryman. Glory past, glory future, what was, what is, what's next. We are Blanchflower, Ardiles, and Bale. We are about winning with a flourish. We are about winning with style. We are about the glory of the game. Daring to try, daring to risk, daring to dream. To dare is to do.
Good afternoon or good morning or good evening or wherever everybody's watching. This is THFC Till I Die, the home of Spurs, past, present and one hell of a future under Ange Postecoglou. Dermot's having a day off today, well-deserved rest, so I'm holding the fort just for this brief update on Spurs transfer news and any other business around the Premiership. And we're in a kind of unusual situation now. We've no match until next Friday week, which is, 9 days away. So I think Ange has given the players a few days off as well, so to recharge the batteries, which is great. And, let's see what we can do when we play that so-called... they're our bogey team. Well, no, I'll rephrase that. We are their bogey team, Manchester City, in the FA Cup on Friday night week. Anyway, let's see who is in the chat before we get going on the news. This guy, we can't get rid of him. He keeps coming in. It's THFC Till I Die. He says, good afternoon, everybody. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell. Yeah, you can read what's going across the bottom there. Hit the like button, subscribe to us. We get all the best and earliest news and more accurate news on Tottenham than any other channel. So that's what you like to see, and that's what we like to give you. And Daniela Zita is saying, good afternoon, Dermot and Philip. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely. And Matthew from India is saying, big up, Comrade Dermot. What he deserved Comrade Dermot for, but anyway, there you go. And Daniela is saying, is Gomez the guy that adds to the team quality and possession-wise and a good carrier of the ball and a passer of the ball? Yeah, that's what kind of midfielder we need to be going for. We'll be dealing with something to do with Gomez, how we pronounce that first name, in a couple of minutes, Daniela. So just hang on there and we'll get to that. Carl Simpson is saying, good afternoon, Philip. How are you, Carl, in the chat? I'm actually in the office today, so just jumped in to like the show. Hope you're not skiving off work, Carl. That would never do. And Gregson is saying, good afternoon, Don, Philip. Thank you, Gregson. Thank you very much. I answer to every answer. Okay, big up, Comrade Phil. Okay, we'll keep the red. No, I can't say we'll keep the red flag flying. We can't say anything red on this channel. It's not allowed. And THFC Till I Die says, as I always say, Spurs are on the Wembley. Dermot, you'll be able to add another line to your song on Friday week. I'm more than confident of that. And Ian S is saying, afternoon, Philip. How are you, Ian? Hope it's not too cold where you are. It's bloody freezing where I am. It's absolutely Baltic. -2 at the moment. And Ian S is saying, it's hey Carl, Daniela, Greg, ATA and Dermo. Yeah, just saying hello to everybody there. And Wayne Bonner, oh God, Wayne. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all well. Yeah, we're all well. And just about finished laughing at West Ham getting knocked out of the FA Cup last night by Bristol City. Do you know what? I was talking to Dermot earlier about it, and it reminded us a bit of Tottenham's performance last season against Middlesbrough. Remember we got beat 1-0? It's just there was no spark, there was no life to West Ham at all last night. And in fact, they're probably lucky to get away with a 1-0. Anyway, Daniela is saying, afternoon, Ian. And Matthew was saying, it is so cold out here in Kerala. I always thought India was always a hot country, but obviously you have a winter season like we do here. Just tell us what temperature it is, Matthew. It'd be interesting to know the comparison, you know. Seeing it's Ireland colder than India, or vice versa. And Wembley One is saying, I've heard that Fulham need to dump Palhina due to FFP. If that's true, we must jump on that. Yeah, he was supposed to be in Bayern Munich's radar, but I don't know whether they can go for him this time either. Certainly, he'd be a great addition to the club. He really, really would. And Carl Simpson saying, for once, I'm not scoffing. Good man, Carl. That's good. And Ian S is saying, hi, Wayne. And Dermot is saying, Philip had to put an extra pair of woolly underwear to keep it. I'm bloody sure. Yeah, I've actually an extra heater on downstairs. It's just, it cannot get warm today. It is so cold. And Simon Cohen says, hi, Philip. Is Gomez coming? Simon, yeah, we're going to deal with that now in a few minutes. There's certainly something stirring there. Now, whether it's to the extent that we get him actually in the door in January, that's another day's work. But we'll cover that now in a few minutes. And Matthew is saying 27 degrees. I presume that's Fahrenheit. Which should be about what it is here. Yeah, about -2 or 3. Yeah. Cold. And Wayne Bonner is saying, hi, Ian. Right, well, that's all the chat so far. The 24 of you in the house, you hit the like button there. And also look at the subscription board because our members-only stuff is starting to go out again. And if anybody missed it the first time around, we've put up the interview with Norman Giller regarding his time writing books and being a close confidant of Jimmy Greaves and Alan Gilzean and all the old Spurs players. It's a brilliant watch. Go back and watch it. Some of the stories he tells are just hilarious, you know. And it just shows you the difference between professional footballers in the 60s and 70s and now. Boys, the 60s and 70s boys wouldn't be able to live the way the boys live today. Anyway, but to keep on a bit more chat here before we go on to the topics, Boris is saying Paulina was on Bayern's radar. From what I've seen around, they can't go for him since lack of funds. Yeah, exactly. And if they did, they would break FFP since they spent 100 million euros on Kane in the summer. That's very true. That's very true. They'd have to offload players before bringing in. FFP is really having a big effect on transfers at the moment. It really is. And Carl is saying we will help all of those teams with FFP by taking their best players. Yeah, that's right. Tottenham will be the clearinghouse for getting you off the hook with FFP. And the ENS says, I watched it, really good. Yeah. Excellent. And 115 Brooches FC got accused again. Yeah, Dermot talked about that yesterday, and I'll be giving my view on it now in a few minutes. This so the hearing has now been scheduled for Manchester City's breaches. And although the date hasn't been officially announced yet, we know what the date is. So I'll be announcing that later in a while. And Gregson is saying, Højbjerg to Fulham for Paulina plus a few quid. Do you know something? That would be a great move. That would be a really good move. It would have three functions. It would bail Fulham out of FFP. It would mean Højbjerg is gone from Spurs and means we get a fantastic midfielder in return. So there you go. I'd be on for that now. I really would. And Gregson is saying, as in, we'll give them money. Yeah, exactly. And Hot God 10, good afternoon, Philip, in the chat. Hope you're all well. Yeah, we're good. Hope you're keeping well. And David Janella saying, big up, Phil. Do you think we will sign anyone else? Hope we do. Coys. Yeah, I think we will. I certainly think we will. I think there's at least one more to come in, maybe more. But I think, like most Spurs fans, I'm more optimistic about this transfer window being a really, really good one than I have been in the past. Because I think Ange has got the ear of Daniel Levy now. He says, listen, Daniel, you do what I want, or, I'm not being a happy bunny. And we need to keep Ange happy because you can be sure he's going to be headhunted by other bigger teams or so-called bigger teams because of what he's doing at Tottenham. And Ian S is saying, afternoon, Hod. And Matthew was saying, Conor Gallagher, hang in there, mate. Yeah, I know. I'm going to come to that now in a few minutes, Matthew. I don't know if you'll be happy with what I've got, but anyway, we'll soon find out. Anyway, just going to go into a bit of the news here now. Again, we might as well deal with that one first, Matthew, seeing as you mentioned it. It appears the Gallagher deal is unlikely. Right now, whether it's unlikely this January and will resurrect itself in the summer, I say that might be the case, providing we don't replace him with somebody else in the meantime. And at the moment, it appears that Spurs have started to talk with Wolves for Gomez. Now, I don't know what the transfer fee is or whether one's been agreed, but it certainly would appear that Wolves, that because of the difficulty Spurs have with dealing with Chelsea. I mean, let's just face it, we're a bit like Celtic and Rangers. We just do not like each other. And there's a bit of, there's always going to be more difficulty involved in what's already a difficult scenario, signing a player. But signing a player from a club you don't get on with is even twice as difficult because they're going to make it awful awkward for us. So I think what Spurs might say, right, they'll go so far with Gallagher and they say, right, sorry, this isn't going to work. They'll move on to somewhere else, hoping that might stir Chelsea's feelings. They'll hang on a bit. We might lose out here. FFP might kick us in the teeth again. So we'll see what happens on that one. But at the moment, it certainly looks as if Gomez would appear to be the preferred option. I think he's moved ahead of Calvin Phillips in that respect because Calvin Phillips apparently has said he wants to go to Newcastle. And if that's the case, let him go. Let him go. I don't think we should pay $6 million for a loan fee for a player who's played 89 minutes in the last season in the Premiership and still got a championship medal. Anyway, that's the way it is. Anyway, that's the transfer. We'll keep you updated if anything else comes in. It's at the moment that's all we have, and it's what are we now? The 17th of the month. We're not going to find it. 2 more weeks and it's over. That's the way it is. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, just go back to the chat here before we go into the rest of the comments. I'll show the rest of the topics. And Hot God is saying, good afternoon, sir. Charlie Rogers saying, Philip is the voice of reason and respect. Well, I try not to be too extreme. I find that doesn't work. I find it's like a middle ground on most things, So thanks, Charlie. I appreciate that. And Matthew saying, how many years would you think Ange will be here? I'm hoping he's here for at least 3 or 4 years until we win a few trophies. But the way natural wastage in football, no one thought he'd leave Celtic. He was doing so well up there. So, he'll be here for longer than Mourinho and Conte and the Garden Gnome lasted anyway. I'm hoping he'll be here for around the time Pochettino stayed. So we'll see. David Jenner saying, where's Derma? Derma had to go away today on an errand, so he's not there. He's probably watching, watching remotely, Dermot. So big up, and I hope yourself and Dermot are well. And Mazda Man saying, big up, Philip. Talk of us looking at Antonio Nusa. Right, that's a new one on me now, Mazda Man. I must say I haven't heard of that one, but Spurs are our team now that are going to be in the news for looking at nearly everybody. Just a harmless potato. I love that name. Saying big up, everybody. Oops, I've done that one already. And to apologize, my laptop is a bit contrary when it comes to scrolling down these comments. Now, here we go. This is from Brian McGuire. Hi, Brian. Man City will get away with it as they have links to Qatar Group who are going to put 10 billion into the UK economy. Yeah, it's a bit of a conspiracy theory, that. But yeah, I mean, I have no doubt there'll be strings pulled somewhere along the line to say, if you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours to the tune of 10 billion quid. So, but I think there will be an outcry, and quite rightly so. If Everton, Forest, whoever else is done, gets punished for one transactional mistake, and Manchester City get away with 115, I mean, there's got to be a public outcry about that. It's a bit like, I'll compare, I don't know if anybody who watched Mr. Bates versus the Post Office drama documentary on TV over the last few nights. I mean, look what happened. Look at the awful way those people were treated, and the way that they were ridden roughshod over by a government who really couldn't care a toss about the rules of things. So if they apply the same principle to this, Manchester City probably will get away with it, but there will be repercussions on that. And the next one is Matthew Levy. He's done it again. Fraud. No, don't judge him just yet on this one, Matthew. Wait until we see what happens at the end of the window. There's a long way to go. I mean, the Gallagher thing, it could be a smokescreen on Gomez. to try and get Chelsea to divvy up and allow Gallagher to go. So we'll reserve judgment until the transfer window is open. Then everybody can have their say. And we'll be doing a program on the 1st of February or 2nd of February, whenever it's over, getting everybody's opinion on the transfer window, what they thought of it. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it indifferent? And what could we have done better if that's the case come the end of the month, you know? And Hot God is saying, Chelsea captain to Spurs is a big ask. And that's just what I've said a few minutes ago. Very, very difficult to deal with Chelsea. Very difficult. So you very rarely saw players leaving Celtic for Rangers. So, you know, it's a bit like that. And Ian S is saying, hi, Matt, Mazda, and Just. And Carl Simpson is coming in with, I think we will sign 2 new midfielders, and a young player we will buy and loan back. There you go. Possibly. Absolutely. Nothing's open. It's quite a quiet transfer window at the minute, to be honest. I see Jordan Henderson has now been released by his team in Saudi Arabia, and he's now free to negotiate with a new club. I think Ajax is supposed to be after him, which makes sense because there's no way any club was going to pay the wages he was on if they just took him on loan. So Jordan Henderson will be back in the European game very shortly, I have no doubt. And Ian S is saying, probably doesn't help that Gallagher appears to want to stay. Well, that doesn't help either. He's made no inclination that he wants to leave. It seems to be the money men wants him to go because of the FFP situation, you know. Basuma reported to have oh, God. Yeah, I saw that he came off after 50-something minutes in the game last night against whoever they were playing. God, I hope he hasn't got it. But I mean, it's okay. If he has it, he's got nearly a month to get rid of it before he comes due to come back anyway. So probably a good time to get it if he's going to get it. But malaria can take it out of you. Big dude, big stuff. I hope he's all right. And Mazda Man is saying, Ian S, big up, Ian. And Hot God is saying, not sure if true. I'm sure that's to do with something we just dealt with. Pardon me if I just can't bring it to mind at the minute, Hot God. And Boris is saying, yeah, plus I think Gallagher wants to stay as well as he's a chance to play Chelsea captain since Reece James is always injured. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Daniel Z, I'm hearing Bazoom has malaria. Yeah, we just have to see in that there now. He was walking around the pitch after the match last night, so obviously something maybe happened after the match. 2 weeks today. That's the end of the transfer window. Actually, it's 2 weeks. It's the 1st of February it's up on, so we have a day and a half to go. Charlie Rogers, Kudicini, Gus Poy. Who else? Chelsea to us. I didn't want Gallagher, a good player, but Chelsea through and through. Difference between Kudicini and Poyet, they were both at the end of their careers when they came to Tottenham. So, and whereas Gallagher's far from that. So they might let go some of their elder statements, but not their young players. Charlie Rogers, Jimmy Greaves played for both back in the day. Yeah, different scenario then. Different scenario. Jimmy Greaves played for Chelsea when he was 17 and came to us when he was 21. Via AC Milan, of course. And Matthew saying, wait, England economy is very good right now. You good guys don't need funding, so relegate City. I don't think a lot of people living in England might agree with that. I think the things are not that hot in England at the moment. But can you imagine headlines in the paper? Qatar saves British economies as long as Man City don't get relegated. Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? And the last comment I think I have here is swap skip for Gallagher. Yeah, in the perfect world that would happen, Hot God, but in reality, I don't think Chelsea would be too keen on that. David, 2 days today, exactly the window closes. Yeah, 1st of February. Yeah. Today's the 17th, isn't it? Yeah, it's the 17th. Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur are reportedly set to rival Fulham in the race to side Club Brugge forward Antonio Nusa. That's from Mazda Man. Yeah, I'm just wondering what we've taken Timo Werner in now. Are we going to overload the front line by getting another striker? Who knows? Who knows? Watch that one coming. And Danielle, did you see all the FA Cup replay results last night? There were a couple of replays again tonight. There are actually, yeah. I watched some of the West Ham Bristol City game last night. And again, as I said earlier, they reminded me of Spurs Middlesbrough Spurs last season. West Ham didn't put up a fight at all. And I think West Everton Crystal Palace tonight might be a decent enough game. So I might have a look at that. And I see Newport County. I've got Man United at home in the next round, which would be great for them. And Boris is saying, why the FO we call Levy a fraud just because we ain't getting one player like no one wanted Mickey. They wanted Tapsoba, no one wanted Vicario, they wanted Ray. Yeah, I know. Listen, we can never please everybody, Boris. I think best thing we can do is just sit on our hands until the end of the window and then have our views on it and see what's what. But I mean, I think at the moment, you've got to say Levy has done okay in this window. He's back down to what he wants, and he's filled the position that we needed filling, and will continue to do so, I'm sure. Brian is saying, I don't want Maguire as it helps Chelsea come out of F. Well, that's another way of looking at it. Yeah, that's a good point. What would you rather have? Conor Gallagher in our ranks or Chelsea get docked 10 points? There you go. Put it in the chat there. See what you go for. I know which one I go for now. And Matthew, this is Dermot saying, Matthew, the fat lady has not sung yet, as we will see. It's been a great window, dead without good players in. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, good point. And Charlie Rogers saying, Hoddle. Well, yeah, that's true. But again, he went there after us, so, you know, Hoddle was ours. Tequila 316, laugh a lot. Henderson, yeah. Henderson's going to Ajax. Yeah, it looks that way. It looks that way. He'd say he'd not be earning 700 grand a week in Holland, that's for sure. I'd say you could probably knock a note off it, if that. And Philip Devine is back with us. He's been recalled. Thoughts? Daniela, I'm going to deal with that now in a minute. There's news on that, which I will be going into now in a minute, okay? And THC said, Tequila Man. Yeah, damn it. So the chat is hopping today. Thanks, lads. This is great. Gregson saying, yeah, I want Chelsea to get done for FFP. Ken Bates electric fence to be brought back and the club flogged off for £1. Oh, happy days if that happened. My God, we'd have a parade down the high road if that ever happened, you know? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but, you know, Chelsea back in the 60s and 70s were a decent enough team. And they're a bit like Tottenham, you know, they're nothing against them. But then Abramovich took over. And I asked a Chelsea fan one time, the tournament strikers at Chelsea, and I said, you know something, I don't think Chelsea have really had a good striker since Peter Osgood. And he looked at me. Yeah, who's Peter Osgood? That was the equivalent of a Spurs player, a Spurs fan asking who was Jimmy Greaves. They haven't a clue. They haven't a clue. Johnny come late, at least when it comes to supporting their team. And Carl Simpson said, Daniele has gone to Plymouth. Yeah, I'm going to deal with that now in a second, Carl. Yeah. And Tequila saying, too much, Dermo. Yeah. Right, let's get back to the banners. Now, we've done the Gallagher deal. And this is something that came out when Ange took over at the club, right? He wanted as you know, Ange comes in with his he doesn't bring his coaching staff with him. He hires them separately. And he's done a great job, apparently, you know, in bringing those lads in. But he wanted to give every player on the books a clean slate. In other words, if you've been complaining about lack of playing time, or you hadn't been in the team, or I don't know, for whatever reason, you want to get everybody started from the same page, right? But there was only one player that wasn't able to make that criteria. And I said, who's the odd one out? You can probably guess who it was. It was Jed Spence. Now, Jed Spence is alleged to have had issues, attitude issues in all the clubs he's been at, probably except Nottingham Forest. Steve Cooper seemed to get a good push out of him. Neil Warnock said about it in Middlesbrough. He came to Tottenham and Antonio Conte didn't fancy him. And now Ange just taking one look at him and says, sorry, lads, you're not a Spurs player. You haven't got the attitude that Spurs players required. And that's why he was pushed out on loan again to Leeds. Now, Leeds sent him back as well, which I don't know the reason for that, whether it was fitness levels or what, I don't know. He's back with us. He came back with us for a couple of days. And as luck would have it, when we signed Dragusin, we've now lamped him off to Genoa on loan for the rest of the season. And well, let's see how he gets on there. I have a feeling that they won't be too enamored with him if he goes out with this "I'm bigger than you" sort of attitude, which I think that's what he's got. And it's a pity because the guy's got talent, but if you've got to, you know, mind your lip and do what you're told to get places in this game. And he's obviously got an issue with authority or whatever it is. And we'll soon find out whether Genoa keep him at the end of the season or they send him back to us. I have a feeling they'll be sending us back to us. Anyway, let's go on with the rest of the chat now before we get into the next topic. And it's Boris again. Daniel Azili, he's gone back on loan to the same club as Ashley Phillips. Yeah, that's actually coming up shortly with Alfie Devine. And Mazda saying Basuma with malaria, no fly. I think there might have been actually. Yeah, that's probably what caused it. Good stuff. Carl is saying no, not Levy's fault. Gallagher has already said he doesn't want to leave. Well, there you go. That's it. And Simon Cohen says, remember Maurice Johnson? Oh yeah, that's the Celtic to Rangers or Rangers. That's the right. Actually, Maurice Johnson was the first Catholic ever to sign for Rangers, I think. That's the first Catholic ever to sign to Rangers. I think it may have changed a bit now in the recent years, but up to the 80s or 90s, I mean, it was unheard of. Yeah, that's right, Maurice Simon. Thanks for reminding me of that. And Daniela saying, okay, I didn't hear that bit. That's probably about the Divine to Plymouth bit, yeah. And Henderson is off to Ajax. That's true. And Ian Henderson, laugh a lot at Henderson. That's laugh a lot. LOL at Henderson. And here is Mazda Man saying, Philip, who will be your first choice attacking three for us currently? Werner, Richarlison, Son. Werner, Richarlison, Son. I mean, that's the three that we had on. We had Johnson in as well, didn't we? I'd like to give Johnson a bit more time. I know people have been giving out about him, and he's this and he's that, and he's the next Gareth Bale. But look what Gareth Bale ended up doing for us. I think the only comparison to the two of them is they're both Welsh. I would actually go at the moment Johnson, Richarlison, Son, with Werner to come on as a sub. In fact, Kulichevsky's there as well. So in fact, would I go? Kulichevsky while Madison out. Kulichevsky should be playing the number 10 role. But I think you'll find that if Kulichevsky is fit, the three that we will play will be Kulichevsky, Richarlison, and Son. We've got great interchangeability up front now, if we can keep it going. And just remember, we've scored in 34 league games on the trot. That's a fantastic record, really. So scoring goals isn't really the problem we've got. I think keeping them out was the issue that we had last season, certainly. And we've had a blip this season with all the injuries. But hopefully now that we've now got three very good centre-backs to choose from, that the goals in will be coming less and less and the goals for will be coming more and more. So, and Tequila saying, hope everybody is well. Yeah, we are, Tequila, hopefully. Thank you. And Matthew saying, oh, things are messed up there too. Damn. Yeah, they are. They're messed up everywhere. Tequila saying, time for another FA Cup upset. West Ham got their work cut out for them to cause this upset. Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, they beat Wigan. Can they beat Newport? And they're away as well. Newport will put it up to them, I'll tell you. They sure will. And this is Dermot. Barney the Dinosaur report. I haven't done one of these for a while. Barney is missing in Bristol. If found, please return to West Ham United with most of the players that are still lost. Yeah, I think the Bristol City players last night in the dressing room kept finding West Ham players in the back of their shorts because they had them in their pockets so much last night, And Matthew again, Conor Gallagher. Yes, Matthew, we know your loyalties lie on that one. And Ian S, this window with ins and outs is a solid 8 out of 10 so far. Chavs point deduction. Yeah, it'd be great now, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? No, that's all the comments for now. So we'll go back into the banners. Right. Now, we've done the Ange clean slate one, haven't we? So let's go down to the next one. Now, this is Brendan Johnson. I don't know if anybody read this, but apparently Brendan Johnson, Nottingham Forest accepted a bid from Brentford in June, right? Which, remember, June is important here because that's the end of the financial year. They accepted an offer of 35 million for Johnson, but Johnson said, no, I'm not going, right? Which meant if Johnson had said he'd go to Brentford and that money had come in, Nottingham Forest would not have been in trouble with financial fair play, right? Or the profit and sustainability, as they call it in the Premier League version, right? So what happened there is the 30th of June came and went. Johnson eventually came to us for a higher fee in July or August, whenever it was, right? But that does not count towards last season's P&S. So that's why Forest are in trouble over that. Now they're going to appeal that. They're going to say, listen, we had a player for sale. He didn't go to the club before the 30th of June, but he did go subsequently for a higher figure to Tottenham. Can you not make some allowances for that? And my thinking that the FA is announcing to that or reply to that is going to be, sorry, lads, you're not Manchester City. We're going to keep you fine guilty. So that's tough on Forest now, I have to say. I feel sorry for them because he was quite right not to go to Brentford, but he's now come back to us at a higher figure, but at the wrong time scale to keep Forest out of P&S. So that is the story on that one. And another one here from, this is Alfie, we've done this one. Alfie Devine has been recalled from Port Vale. Now, I must say the Port Vale manager has given him absolutely glowing references. He played 26 times for them, that's what a loan deal is about. Playing 26 times in half a season for the club you've gone to, in a League Two club, to get your, to get your experience up. He's now going to Plymouth Argyle along with Ashley Phillips in League One, which I think is a step up in quality. No offense to Port Vale, but Plymouth would be a better team for him to go to. And Spurs had the option to break the contract or to break the loan deal halfway through, which they've done. They've now sent him straight out to Plymouth. And Alfie Devine will be one for the future. He scored some very valuable goals for Port Vale, and he's only 19. And I can see him being really, really good player for Tottenham when he comes back in the summer, and he'll be fighting for a place in the first team squad next season. So let me see just a few more comments here before we go on to the rest of the transfer news. And let me see now. Just go back on. Where were we? Sorry about this. I just want to get that. Oh yeah. This is from Tequila. You're not on the stream, Dermot. No, Dermot's remotely. He's watching remotely this afternoon. I'll explain why in a minute. Gregson saying, I want the Fulham Blues sanctioned over Gallagher. Yeah, well, why not? None of us want to see Chelsea getting any justice on this. We want to see them done. And Mazdaman saying, we aren't worrying about breaking rules and being deducted points. Levy might appear stubborn, but he's as smart as a fox. I mean, I think by building the stadium the way Spurs did, with the extra room for NFL match, rock concerts, boxing, whatever, was a masterstroke, because we're able to gain other income for the club and keeps us out of the clutches of FFP or profit and sustainability. Like, we might say Levy's a tight git, which he is, no doubt about it. Every pound's a prisoner with him. But let's face it, we are the model, the way a club should be run financially, in a way. I know we give out about players, him scrimping over 2 and 3 million, but that's just the way he is, And I know we lost out on Jack Grealish over 2 or 3 million. That was a big mistake. But we can sit back now and when the likes of Chelsea and Man City and Fulham and Man City or Forest or whatever are worrying, because there are more teams to be announced with FFP or P&S as they call it. And there's going to be a whole load of them, maybe 5 or 6 of them. We are not going to be one of them. And that's the way I like to see it. Absolutely. And Thfc till I die. No Tequila. Mrs. had a hospital appointment. That's the reason Dermot isn't here. So I didn't like to say now, but Dermot, now he's actually said what it is. And this is from Dave. Devine has gone to Plymouth. Yeah, we're just discussing that, Dave. Yeah, he's gone for the season, which would be a good one for him. And Tequila 316. Okay. Hope all is well, bud. Yeah, we send our best wishes to Derval now for the hospital appointment. Hope everything goes well. And Tequila, Ian is saying, hope everything went well, Derm. Yeah, we all say that, Dermot. We've all got your backs, both of you. Whoops, hang on. I just put the wrong one there. Yeah, we would get a PL title then. So yeah, I was just thinking, wouldn't it be a gas if some of the teams above us or around us would dock points, and Spurs ended up winning the league by default because of the points deduction? It'd be so ironic, that we run ourselves right, they don't, and they lose the league out because of it. But I'm going to come to that now in a minute about Manchester City. And Dermot saying, been waiting here for a 2:15 appointment, not been seen yet, very pissed off now. Jeez, I'm not blaming you, it's 4:30. That's 2.25 hours. And there's nothing worse sitting in the hospital for hours when there's nothing, when you're waiting on an appointment. But that's the health service, I'm afraid. Carl Simpson saying, points deduction all the way. Yeah, hopefully. And Tequila says, it sounds like our NHS over here doing well. It's pretty much, it's the H&E over here. It's the NHS with you. And it's the same thing. They still can't get their act together. Although I'm not complaining, but the workers do a fantastic job. It's the management and the way things are structured. PHILLIP like that. I say, I want both. I greedy like that. And Ian is saying, for fuck's sake, pardon my Greek, Dermot, that's disgusting. I know, am I hanging around the hospital 2.5 hours? It's not good. Not good. And Matthew saying, Ryan Mason becoming the next manager after Ange, thoughts? Probably not. Probably not. I don't think so. I think he'll have a good career in the game, Ryan Mason, but I don't see him as a Spurs manager. Carl Simpson, Ange gave everyone a chance, but apparently Spence still sulked. Yeah, that's basically it, Carl. Yeah. Yeah. And Tequila saying Warnock did try to warn us. He did indeed. He did. Yeah. And Dyer, the odd one out. Because Eric Dyer long is Tequila's. I miss Dyer. Bear, never leave me. I think he might be in the minority there, Tequila. Somehow, I think most people are jumping up and down the fact that he's gone from us. Carl Simpson, Leeds sent him back as he turned up late for training. He didn't work hard. Yeah, I know. That's it. You see now, there's a pattern developing there, isn't there? And Dyer, Bear, in my big softy, Tequila. And Boris Britt saying he basically did what Ten Hag said Sancho did. Yeah, pretty much. A bit of a similarity there, all right. Only good thing for Spurs is Spence didn't cost us 80 million. And Tequila saying Ian laughing at ENS. And Gregson saying, speaking of lazy players who can't be asked to play football, how is the Burger King and Dombele doing wherever he is? Yeah, he's going to be kept on by Galatasaray for the rest of the season, apparently. He's actually played well in a couple of matches recently, although he was subbed, I think, in the last one. So they're going to keep him. So at least he's not our problem for another few months. He eventually will be our problem, but at the moment he's still out in Turkey, and let him stay there. Mo Johnson did do a transfer from Celtic to Rangers. He was announced he was meant to sign for Celtic. Rangers offered more money. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to. I might talk to you and get that one again, Brian. I remember something about that. All right, yeah. And Tequila saying, problem I got with Johnson is we just spent half the K money on, not the lad's fault, but it is what it is. Give him time, Tequila. Give him time. It was a lot of money to spend on a young raw lad like him, but I think he will come good, hopefully, anyway. And Master Man is saying, just wondering how much of a chance we gave to Werner to prove himself. I think we'll give him till the end of the season. We're in a no-lose situation there. If we like him, we keep him. If we don't, we don't. Simple as that. So, see how he gets on. And Carl is saying Gregson and Dombele has just been given the McDonald's life card for unlimited food in Turkey. He's made up. That's probably why he's staying. Yeah, he's loving it. Yeah, exactly. And Terry Wright saying big up to you, Terry. Hope you're keeping well. And let me just see now. I'll jump down a few there. My God, the chat is really busy here today. Okay. Now, this is from Matthew. As per reports, we had generated a revenue of 650-something million, and still people say we don't have money as we're one of the biggest and richest clubs in the world. This club is for superstars. Yeah, I mean, and it looked on the face of it, we have money, and we have a chairman who's kind of reluctant to spend it. But I think that's changing a little bit this window. We can see things have moved quickly in January, and we're now looking stronger than we were. Boris Britt saying, well, Brentford has ruined the youngsters' careers to be perfect. Example, Keane Lewis, Potter, the whole City winger, was the hottest talent up and coming. Then went to Brentford, not heard of anymore. Yeah, can happen. And just to add that Sergio Reguilon has now agreed to go to Brentford on loan for the rest of the season. I don't actually have that on. I'm just going to put the mute on for a second, lads. I'm going to put a light. Sorry about that. Now we can see things anyway. Yeah, I mean, because it's a risk going to a club from a lower league to a higher league, whether you're going to make it or not. They don't all do it, and that lad is probably one of the examples of it. Luke Chapman is saying Northampton Town have signed Norwich City attacking player Tony Springer on loan for the rest of the season. I don't know much about that lad, but I'm sure he was an attacking winger. I'm sure Northampton probably need that, and good luck to him. And Colin Cross, also promoted teams are not allowed to lose as much as other teams. That is unfair to them. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And Northampton have also signed Louis Molden on loan from Wolves for the rest of the season. God, they've been busy. Stay humble. Let's be honest, we were never meant to get to a Champions League final, which made us think we were better than we were and lost focus. It's a hard one. It's a tricky one. That there, we got there because we got there. We got there because of Lucas Moura in the semi-final. But hypothetically, that was the end of the Pochettino era, because I reckon the fact that he played Harry Kane in the final ahead of Lucas Moura was the beginning of the end for Poch. We could have won that game if Moura had been playing. Harry wasn't fit. So, we lost a bit of focus there. The players lost faith in the manager. The rest is history. And we were treading water from that time until now. Ange has taken over. So we lost. That was what? November 19, Poch was sacked. And Ange came in July 23. So we lost 3.5 years of nothing football under managers that were not suited to Tottenham, that didn't understand the project. And we're only there for a notch on their CV and a huge pay packet. So at least now we've got a manager that knows that gets it, and hope long may it continue. And Tequila saying Levy is super tight, but he knows how to balance the books. Yeah, exactly. Colin Cross, Levy is coming out smelling of roses. I wouldn't say that now. I think there's probably too much manure on him from the last crop, but he's certainly freshened up a bit. I think the best way of putting it. And Wilton is saying good afternoon. Phil, hi Wilton, how's things in Florida? I hope the weather's better than here. And ENS says, sorry, I made you swear. Doesn't take much to get me swearing, and don't worry about it. I'm biting my lip here a lot of the time, especially during the live commentaries. Anyway, Ian is saying, hi, Colin and Wilton. Colin is saying, ENS, hi, Butty, as we say in Wales. And Brian Maguire says, Johnson will come good. Yeah, I agree with you, Brian. He will. And this is from Wilton again. Philip, what's your take on the Gallagher? I like him, but my choice would be Gibbs White. Technically a good player. Yeah, and it's another one that we might be able to make hay on if the Forest need to sell, because of this FFP thing or PNS thing. He's a good player. The Gallagher thing, we've discussed it earlier, that we think that he doesn't want to come. Spurs are reportedly have moved on now to talk about Gomez from Wolves. And there's always that Kelvin Phillips knocking in the background that we think is probably... No, he wants to go to Newcastle, so let him go. So Phillips, Gallagher, I don't think is going to happen this year, this window. Whether it happens in the summer, who knows? But if we buy Gomez from Wolves, then Gallagher, that deal won't happen. I think another one that came up earlier, but maybe before you signed in, was that Fulham could be in bother over FFP and may have to sell Paulina. And if that's the case, we might be able to offload Højbjerg to Fulham and take Paulina on a part exchange deal plus cash. So that's well worth watching. We still have 2 weeks to go, so let's watch this space. And Colin Cross saying, Dermot, you're lucky in Wales NHS. You have to be lucky to be seen this month. It's not quite that bad here, but anyway, listen, there's a stack of you in the chat, so please hit the like button. It really helps our algorithm, whatever that is, with YouTube and whatever. And also hit the subscribe button and take out your membership, because as Dermot, Dermot, they have no idea the World Keeper thing getting the exclusive transfer business and news that we get here. It's quite incredible, really, that we've never ever really we're not right all the time, but we don't do rumors and we only do things that look like going to happen. And we've been very, very we were the first to say Ange was coming to Spurs, that Harry Kane was going to Bayern, and that Dragusa was going to come for Spurs, among others. So if you want the news, you come here and you get it here, and you get it in our inimitable way of putting it, which is pretty irreverent at times, but who cares? We don't play by the rules half the time. Anyway, Tequila says, I gotta go and cast in a minute. Tequila, all the best. Go over to Tequila's gaming channel. You can put up the link on there now. It's great. And I'm not into gaming, but I believe that's really, really one of the good ones. And Tequila is also saying, before I go, let's leave a like for Elvia here, who was doing his best solo act. And back off, will you? I was nearly taken in by that. And leave a like for Jumbo and his missus. Yeah, thanks, Tequila. Elvia. Changed my name from Elvis, haven't I? That's all right. And there's the our channel here, THFC Till I Die. And this is Ian. See you later, Tequila. And bring it down here. And this is the Full Time Sports Network. This is our sister channel, our partner channel. It's run by Manchester United and Arsenal fans, but we have great banter with them, and it's done in a nice, respectful way. Like we take the piss out of each other with respect. Anyway, Lewis Potter pulled out of the Welsh squad, believing England was going to call. Don't hold your breath, Lewis. Famous last words. We have a few of them in the Irish squad. Declan Rice and James Jack Grealish. My gaming podcast channel is there. You can see the play pouch. And Wilton is saying, we got the Champions League final on merit. We did actually. Yeah, we did. Cheers, Ian. All the best. And Tequila saying, enjoy the stream and support the lads. Take care. See you later, Tequila. All the best. And Colin Cross saying, Gibbs White will be good for Johnson. Well, they know each other, that's for sure. Yeah, they would. They played together. So, yeah, possibly. And Boris, but not even just for Phillips. We need to spend 40 million plus. The City ain't wanting less than 40. I wouldn't give 40 million for Phillips. He's a guy who hasn't played the length of a match in the Premiership. No, I don't. I'd far rather get Gomez from Wolves. Højbjerg has already knocked back a move to Fulham before. Yeah, he mightn't do it again, though. He mightn't do it this time. Elvis is alive. Oh, my God. He's been in Ireland all this time. Shh. Quiet. And Geordie is saying, hello for the big up. Hi, Geordie. How are you? He couldn't hold on against Man City the other day. You gave him a good game, though. And I think that's the end of the comments. No, we'll just finish up. We're nearly at the end of the show, lads. And actually, I'm nearly at the end of my battery. So we'll just plug it in here before I go dark on you. Sorry about that. No, that's the battery charged up again. Right, let's see what we got now just before we finish off. It's a couple of quick bits of transfer news. Brian Hill is in demand. Feyenoord and Fiorentina are keen to sign him. Now, I'm not sure whether it's a loan or a full purchase. It's probably a loan deal. And I would say that, with Werner coming in now, it's putting Brian Hill a bit further down the pecking order. So I don't think that's would be anyone would be too, like he's a very skillful player, but lightweight. He needs to bulk up. And the last bit of news before I go into the talk about the Manchester City situation, Højbjerg's future may not be decided until the end of the window. And this is probably why, because of our shortage of midfielders, if we don't buy anybody in, right, we're still missing Sarr, we're missing Basuma, and Højbjerg will be there as a sort of a squad player or a utility player for us until the end of the window probably, and then we'll probably sell him if we've got replacements in or our other guys are coming back from their various cup competitions. So don't expect Højbjerg to go anywhere until right near the end of the window, if he goes anywhere at all. And just the last few comments. The comments have disappeared. Very strange. Oh, here we are. Right, and Geordie's asking where is Dermot. Dermot's away on a hospital appointment with his other half, Geordie, so he's having an afternoon off. He's watching in the background, though. I can tell he'd be giving me evils now for some of the things I've said. Colin, he said this Dermot now, saying Colin, he can't play the full international game for Ireland. And Wilton saying, greatest solo effort, Philip. The weather here is miserable, but not cold. Werner will be good for us, but the goals will be scared. Yeah, I think he'd be more a player to hassle back and chase and use his pace, Well, thanks for the comments, Wilton. I appreciate that. And Dermot saying he played against France in the quest for Euro 2026. And right, I'm just going to finish off now. Dermot discussed this last night a little bit, but we're all looking at the FFP or profit sustainability, whatever you want to call it, and the way certain clubs seem to be, I'm going to use the word victimized. I know they may be technically guilty of breaching the rules, but they've been caught maybe for one offence. And then we have a team called Manchester City, otherwise known as United Emirates City, Emirates City, or Abu Dhabi City or whatever, who have 115 charges, of which they've already been found guilty, but exonerated by arbitration. They're up again before the FA. Now, the FA came out yesterday and announced we've got a date for the Manchester City hearing, but we can't tell it. Now, what sort of bullshit is that? We've got a date, but we can't tell you what it is. It's just, it smacks of bowing down to Manchester City. We're not going to make it public, lads. We're going to keep it between ourselves. Little nod and a wink here. We'll bring it out. We'll announce the date at 3 o'clock in the morning. On a weekend, there's no matches. I hope nobody notices. Well, the date is October the 24th. So FA, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. That's the date that the bullshit starts. Because what's going to happen here is they are going to use every trick in the book to hold on to their position the way they are. Like as it stands, if Everton would dock 10 points for what they did, Manchester City should be docked enough points to put them back in the Greater Manchester Under-10 Schoolboys League. That's how many points they should be deducted. But they are going to be fighting it and fighting it and fighting it. So there's going to be an awful lot of lawyers making a fortune out of this, purely to keep Manchester City where they think they deserve. I know where they deserve to be. Like I said, Under-10s, Manchester Schoolboys League. And that'll be the end of it. Rangers were deducted points and relegated because of a similar thing in Scotland a few years ago. There's no reason why it can't happen to Manchester City, except they'll buy their way out of it, as always. Anyway, listen, I'm just going to finish off with the chat here. Then we're gonna finish it for the day. It's been a great show, lads, and great interaction between yourself. And thanks a million for that. It's really appreciated. And Dermot saying, massive thank you, Philip. Great show. Oh, I do my best, Dermot. And Colin Cross saying, okay, Dermot, that would clear that up then. And mind you, Colin Ferguson's not been playing well. Matthew was saying, and give us our titles in Man United, Liverpool. Yeah, you just wonder if they hit them retrospectively and took away some of their achievements. That would be interesting. City will get away with it, and the Chavs probably, while Forest and Everton will get hung out to dry. That's my point. And Colin Cross, still better stay with you than them. Yeah, well, that's true. And with that, that's it. There's been a really good show, lads. Thanks for watching. And don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe. And we'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock with Newsbeat Transfer again. And then tomorrow night, a very interesting show coming up. We're going to go through what we call the top 10 of the best. And tomorrow night, Dermot and myself are going to discuss the 10 best FA Cup finals. What we reckon to be the 10 best FA Cup finals. And not just Tottenham. There's a lot of very interesting games in here. A lot of really, really important matches. And it shaped a lot of good careers and also destroyed a few others. So we'll be doing that at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. It's called 10 of the best, so check in for that. So anyway, listen, with that, lads, we are going to finish it. And we'll see you shortly. And I'm hoping I'm able to pick the right video clip to finish off. Because, now, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do the one we come in with. This is our new, it's absolutely mind-blowing, this. It is so good to see the Spurs teams of the past in this video. And have a look at it. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you soon.
Very, very many people interested in football, and I always thought that football was a very important game, but I never realized until today just how important it is.
Whether the Wonder Boys of White Hart Lane are or are not the team of the century can't possibly be more than a matter of opinion.
Well, they're the finest team in Great Britain, and one of the best in the world.
We are about the glory of the game. We are about playing with style. We are Tottenham Hotspur. The curve of the ball, the billow of the net, the beating of the trap and the picking of the lock, the swiftness of thought, the lightness of touch. We are Ginola, Greaves, Klinsmann. We are the collective gasp, the intake of breath, the flick, the trick, the 30-yard free kick. We are Hoddle, Mabbott and King. We are the lob, the chip, the dummy and the volley. We are the hat trick, the scissor kick. We are Bill Nick.
That is schoolboy's own stuff.
We are the outside of the boot, the inside of the net, and those seconds that last forever.
It's Lucas Moura. Oh, they've done it! I cannot believe it! Lucas Moura with the last kick of the
We
game.
are Jennings, Defoe, and Perryman. Glory past, glory future, what was, what is, what's next. We are Blanchflower, Ardiles, and Bale. We are about winning with a flourish. We are about winning with style. We are about the glory of the game. Daring to try, daring to risk, daring to dream. To dare is to do.